Jurak Classic Whole Body Tonic is a dietary supplement, not a drug. Therefore, it is useful to affect the structure and/or function of your body in various ways, but it is not intended to and will not cure, mitigate, treat, or prevent any disease. Individual testimonials may not be everyone's experience and do not constitute scientific evidence. Jurak Corporation does not make any drug or treatment claims for its product.
Greetings, everybody. Once again, it is the Tonic Man. As you can see, we're doing these video calls now with the success stories. It used to be audio conference calls for some of you remember how many years, 20, 30 years we've been doing them. Now the video calls, of course, are really great. We can see people, and seeing people after they've been drinking tonic for a number of years really, really opens one's eyes. And we have quite a number of our members who I'm still speaking with after 20, 30, and 40 years that they've been on it. And that's why we call it a youth solution. It really is a youth solution that keeps you young. I don't know how young I look or how old I look, but I'm 88 and a half years old. Yes, I'm counting the months now. And I feel a lot younger than I'm sure most people at 88. I may even look somewhat younger. Somebody told me the other day at least 20 years younger. Well, that's great. I appreciate the flattery. But if I look even 10 years younger, great. But the most important thing is, how do you feel? Do you feel younger? How's the blood work? What's going on with all the markers? If the markers are sort of in balance and the doctors tell you between this level and that level, you're in okay shape. Sure, it can be perfect, but very few people are perfect, even if they drink JC Tonic. After all, our bodies are growing older every single day, and the older we get, the faster that goes. So they're going to break down, even with the miraculous, amazing, unbelievable youth solution. This tonic my father developed and actually had on the market in 1943. Can you believe it? It's over 80 years and people are using it. By the way, not only people, animals. Get your four-legged friends on it. It is quite remarkable how many people have had a turnaround that no veterinarian could do for their dog or cat. It's just remarkable. There's one, go to YouTube and go to our channel. Just type in JC Tonic and you can listen to everything we've done. One is a cat story from our pal Betty, who said the cat had leukemia of some kind. I'm not sure what the illness was. Pus coming out of the eyes, out of the mouth every day. She had to clean it up. After a few days, weeks, or months on the JC, all of a sudden, all that stopped. So look, give it a try. It's like us humans. Give it a try. So all of you listening for the very first time, I want you to appreciate it is a youth solution. And our guest on this podcast is a youngster who's been drinking it for, I don't know, but he's going to tell you the story, and you get your calculator out so you can you can calculate how long he's been on it. But he looks fantastic. Let me bring him on, and he'll just tell you everything he can, and it'll be great for you. I'll come back after he has told his success story and give you a few other little tidbits, and we'll wrap it up. So here we are, Mike. Come on down. Tell everybody what's going on.
Okay, Anthony. Well, thanks for inviting me. I started on the tonic back in 1989. Back then, I got a friend of mine on it. His name was Chico. And this guy was totally sick. He was on so many medications that if he looked down, he would fall over. Yeah, he did. I would say it was awful. If he dropped a pen on the floor, he had to reach down and feel for it because he couldn't look down. He'd fall flat on his face.
Oh, you're serious?
I'm serious.
Oh, boy.
I'm serious. He would fall over. And his skin was just a gray color. And so we got him on a tonic and he started taking it, but he went through detox real bad. And Fortunately, he didn't think it was the JC Tonic was detoxing, and he kept on it until he got through the detox. And after he got through the detox, his whole life changed. He said, like, look what I can do now. I don't have to worry about looking down or anything. I can reach down and get a pen. I could do everything that I couldn't do before.
How
It's
old
just-
was he at the time?
Chico at
He
that
was young.
time-
He was young then.
Well, he was young at that time because now I'm trying to think. When did I get? I got 89. I'm 77 now. I've been on it for 47 years. Holy mackerel! I've been on for 47 years.
You've been on since 30 years old. 47 years?
Yeah,
Holy smokes!
47 years I've been on it. Chico was older than me by 8 years. Okay, so he was 38 when he got on it. But he told me, he said, I saved his life. He was even thinking about jumping out of his office window because he was in such bad shape. But after being on the JC Tonic, and it changed it turned him around completely. I mean, completely.
If you think you're going to want to jump out your office window from 10 floors up, you must be really in bad shape.
Oh, he was. He was in terrible shape. He just didn't want to live anymore. But being on the JC Tonic, he became one of my best distributors because people that knew him saying, hey, look at you. You can do all this stuff. What changed your life? And he would have a bottle of JC Tonic with him all the time and show him.
Yeah, and actually that's the exact way to do it and share it with other people and pay it forward, as we say, because everybody out there is suffering of something.
Yep, they sure are.
So what were you suffering of at 30 years old, or were you?
Oh, I had aches and pains, because I played a lot of racquetball and stuff. And the neat part about it was being on the JC Tonic, I could beat my daughter's husband, my son-in-law. He was 20 years younger than mine, but he couldn't beat me because I was so good at racquetball because I took JC Tonic, and it gave me all the energy and everything I needed to play well in the sport. But if you want to go into something like that, all my kids got on the JC Tonic, and they went into weightlifting, and they all set records in the state. My daughter was a senior when she got on it, and she was doing deadlift. She deadlifted 435 pounds, and she was 160 pound weight class.
And that she was how old at that time?
17.
70 years old. She could lift
435 pounds. Yeah.
And 35 pounds.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Are you saying that that prior to drinking the tonic, she was unable to do like that kind of stuff, or she was pretty close to that? Or...
Well, no, she couldn't really do that. In fact, they made her test because they thought she was on drugs. They couldn't believe she could lift that. And when she did the test, of course, she came out, flying colors. And then I had one of the coaches come up to me one day and say, hey, is she a senior this year? I said, yeah, why? Well, since she's going to graduate, we want someone else to win for a change. So, and my son followed her. She was 1 year behind. But the coach at the school said he's the best my son ever saw. He could actually deadlift 650 pounds. And then my youngest daughter, she was only 103 pounds. I took her to Chicago for a meet, and she came in first place. She deadlifted 313 pounds, and she only weighed 103. 3 times her weight.
Holy smokes!
JC,
But they must have been. Yeah, but they must have been doing this their whole life.
What, the JC Tonic or what?
No, lifting weights.
No, they didn't get into it until in high school.
Isn't that something? Holy smokes!
Yeah. No, they got in kind of late. But that's why they made my daughter test, because they thought she was on steroids or something.
Are they going to make you test now because you can lift 2 pounds?
No, actually, I can lift 200 pounds every time I get out of bed in the morning.
There's one thing, folks, about this fellow Mike. He's got a sense of humor, so hang in there.
Yeah, hang in there. But let's, go into the story. I want to tell a story about what happened to me. This was in 2020. I had a little motorcycle mishap. I had run out of fuel and I reached down and put it on reserve, but I had my hand on palm rest. And when the fuel hit there, the bike took off without me and dumped me on the road. And when I got to the hospital, of course, what do? They take the blood to make sure that it's not alcohol related, right? The nurse came back to me and she said, "Yours is the purest, cleanest blood I've ever seen in my life." And I go, "Well, that's because you never see anyone with JC Tonic. They don't get sick. They don't go to the hospital." I mean, when she came back and told me that, I'm going, "Thank you, JC Tonic."
It's surprising that she even said that because they never remark. I mean, I've gone for blood tests, and what do you think of the blood? And they say, "Well, it's blood." I mean, they don't know or notice differences, but there are differences in the thickness and the color and so on, depending on what's loaded in your bloodstream.
Well, I was surprised she came back to me, but she did. She came back and said,
Yeah,
hey, yours is the purest, cleanest blood I've ever seen in my life.
that is
Yeah,
great.
fantastic stuff. Well, I'll tell you a little story about my wife, too. My wife, when I first started taking it, she wouldn't take it. She goes, "Oh, that's for you." Well, she was one of these people that would get up at the crack of noon each day. Okay.
The crack of noon.
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyhow, Dave Lamont came to my house to put on a presentation at my house. And he turned to my wife and said, "Hey, are you taking this?" And she said, "No." "Well, you really should be." Well, I noticed something in the next week. She started getting up instead of the crack of noon. She's getting up at 9 o'clock. And then a few weeks later, she was getting up at 6 o'clock. And I said, "What's going on?" "Oh, I started taking the tonic. It gave her the energy to where she wouldn't sleep till the crack of noon each day." So just fantastic what this stuff does for everybody.
And then you had your mishap. Well, what happened with your legs? And you had big time surgery.
Oh, yeah, I ruined my legs playing racquetball. I played every day, and I went for a shot and twisted and tore the cartilage out of one knee, got it repaired, went back, started playing, tore it out of the other knee. And then when I hit the wall with my hip and had my hip replaced, I finally quit. That triggered some arthritis in my knees, and I was in constant pain all the time. So I went and had both knees done at the same time.
We have to stop for a second, folks, and show you the photo, and we're going to insert it here. The photo of Mike's legs prior to his operation, because he keeps telling us, how much did you grow after the legs were operated on?
Oh yeah, I gained an inch because he straightened my legs because I was always bow-legged.
Yeah. So here are his bow legs. And we'll show you other photos of what Mike is talking about in a moment. But continue, Mike. What happened then?
Okay, so after I got my hip replaced, I said, "That's it, I'm done." But I didn't have the knees replaced, and I put up with the pain for a few years, and then I finally went to a surgeon and said, "Hey, I want to have both my knees replaced at the same time." And he said, "Wow, that's my favorite operation." And everybody else said, "Are you crazy? You won't have a leg to stand on." So,
Doing both together.
yeah, doing them both together. I said, "Well, look, I was so bow-legged that if I had one done, I'd be walking like I was walking on the side of a hill, probably." You know, so I had them both done at the same time. And the strange thing about it was I went back from my post-op after 4 weeks, and my surgeon said, "How can you do all this stuff that you're doing?" I said, "I have patients that only have one knee done and they can't do half the stuff you're doing." And I said, "Well, the reason I'm healing so fast is because I had both knees done at the same time. It only takes half as long, right?"
We'll show the photo of after the surgery with all these staples in it. I don't know how many staples were in there in that photo.
There was 42 in each leg.
42 staples in each leg. Look at
Yeah.
that, folks.
Yeah, that was something else. But you know what? I healed so fast he couldn't believe it. He released me after 8 weeks unconditionally.
That is also indicative of like tremendously good health when your immune system can repair you so quickly.
Well, also since your blood's so good, it carries the oxygen better. And
Yep.
let's face it, you get oxygen to the injured area, it's going to heal fast.
Well, the whole thing, I'm glad you brought that up because, folks, the whole deal is the blood anyway. And when your blood is nice and clean, like Mike's, it does everything better. It does everything that it's supposed to do. I like to use the analogy of tuning up your car. When you tune it up and pick it up at the auto shop, you feel like you're in a new car.
Yep. I'll tell you what, I'm running on jet fuel.
Oh boy, Mike, that's great. So
Now,
now you're how old now?
I'll be 77 in May, on May 8th,
Look at that.
77 years old.
Yeah, and
Um,
nothing much wrong with your health overall.
I'm not on any medications at all at my age, which is everybody can't believe it,
That's
you know,
right. But
because
neither am I, and everybody can't believe that either. And
because
neither are most people who have been on this for after 10 years. People are starting to be completely off whatever they were on, you know.
well, that's like Chico. Chico was on 2 buckets full of medication, and then once he got through the detox and was on JC Tonic for a while, guess what? He was able to throw away most of those.
Wow.
I mean, it changed his life completely. I wish I
Well,
could get my friend in Pennsylvania on it. Um, I have to admit, though, he is older than I am, uh, by 32 days.
but he looks and feels a lot older.
Well, he's taking 12 pills a day, and he said his short-term memory is shot. I said, "That's because you're over-medicated. You need to
So
get on."
why is he not after he sees you after all these years, your best friend? Why is he? Why would he not try it?
Because the doctors tell him not to. Can you
Oh,
believe
really?
that? They did that to my dad, Anthony. I had my dad on it after he had his heart attack and stuff, and he said, "Man, I'm feeling better." And then he took the bottle to his doctor, and the doctor says, "I don't want you taking that."
You know, it's what most doctors say. And I had, when I was 10 years old, my sister got married. She was 10 years older than I was, and she married a doctor. And he was a country doctor, so he could do everything short of changing out a heart. And he ran a 50-bed hospital in a little one-horse town. And he was a great guy and a great doctor, and he would go up on the farms and he would do anything. And he started getting, as he was getting more and more stressed with all the work he was doing, and he had a drugstore, he started popping pills. And his health really deteriorated. I kept telling him through my
Yeah.
teen years, I said, you ought to drink this stuff. He says, oh, that juice, that jungle juice, are you crazy? And he could see I mean, people were loading their cars up with the stuff that my dad was making it in those days. And he refused until one day he was so ill and he told me, okay, okay. He says, bring me 2 bottles. I want it now. I said, fine. I was making stuff for anybody and everybody who wanted, and I brought him 2 bottles. He took the bottle the first time and he started guzzling it. It was dripping down his sleeve on his shirt. I said, you don't have to make up for 10 years. Take it easy. Well, long story short, he stayed on it. And in 3, 4 weeks, he called me just howling. He said, make me 5 gallons. I'm going to put everybody in the hospital on it.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And I thought, this is it. It's going to be in every hospital in the country. And he was killed in a car accident 3 weeks later.
Oh, gee.
And that was the end of that.
Mm.
But the fact is that doctors, by and large, don't know and are not taught about some alternatives and possibilities, and particularly with botanicals. I mean, there's a long history of medicine in botanicals, and you would think they would, if nothing's working and they're giving people their drugs and people are not getting better, give some, but they won't. So it is the way it is. I'm glad you made the decision, and too bad
Yeah.
your friend in Pennsylvania is not, but keep
Well,
at it. Keep at it.
I told him, I said, there's a reason they call them practicing physicians. I said, they're practicing on you.
Yeah.
Don't let them do this. I said, you're taking 12 pills a day, and that's what's causing your memory loss. You've got to stop this. But he won't listen to me.
Well, if he was in your hometown, you might have a better chance. You know,
Well,
I had a family member who I tried for 30 years to drink it, and she became a very, I don't know how high you can become in nursing, but she went to the top of whatever nursing is. And I hadn't seen her for a number of years, and I saw her maybe about 4 years ago, and it was in the summer, I was in a bathing suit, I had a nice tan, and she arrived at the house, and she didn't say, "Nice to see you, Anthony, all after all these years." She said, "Are you still drinking that crap?"
Oh, gee.
And
Oh my gosh.
I said, "Yeah, I'm still drinking the crap." She said, "I want some, and I want some now," because she
Whoa.
was just turning 70 and she was falling apart. She was on medication. She felt terrible. She looked terrible. And she saw me like, how can this guy, I was 84, I think, or 84 years old. She was looking, how can this guy look like this? It must be, it must be the crap he was drinking. So you keep at it, you might get him.
I need to go and sit down with him.
Well, maybe you should drive your motorcycle because, folks, Mike is still driving a motorcycle. Can you believe that?
And flying planes.
And flying planes.
Planes too. Yeah.
Mike, you've covered it very, very nicely and humorously. And the message, of course, to everyone listening is it's never too late. It's also better to start earlier. And if you start earlier, you can nip off the years as the years go by and just look a year, 2, 3, 5, 10 years younger. And if you go to our channel on YouTube, you can see some of the people we're talking about. There is a lady, Ruthie, who we have her before picture at 65 or 67 years old. And then the after video, she's 86. You'd think we made a mistake. The 86 one looks like she's 65. It's just, Mike is not the only one. She is not the only one. There are dozens, hundreds maybe. So get on the program, drink the youth solution. That's what it really is. It's keeping your body younger or making it younger. So, Mike, really thank you. After all these years, we got you to a video, and you're telling that story. It's going to be helpful for a lot of people.
Well, thank you for inviting me. And I'm going to be on this tonic for the rest of my life.
Yep,
That's what it
sure
is.
will. You've got, as they say, the proof is in your pudding, and you know it works. So don't make a mistake of getting off it. We have some folks who are also going to be on upcoming video podcasts, and they stopped after they felt really, really great. Guess what happened? 5, 10 years later, they start falling apart again.
Yeah.
Because that's that old thing, I think it's called growing old. It keeps on. What
That
is it?
doesn't
Father
stop.
Time. He doesn't stop, you know?
That's right. Never stops.
Never stops.
But you might as well grow old and be young at the same time.
Well, if you do what you're doing, and I'm doing, and many others, when you finally get to the pine box, you'll have a big smile instead of cringing, and that'll be a good way to go to the next wherever we're going.
Well, yeah, and I tell everybody I'm just middle age. I'll live to 150 because of JC Tonic.
You're just middle-aged, that's right. Well, you look and feel one heck of a lot younger than you are. Maybe
That's right.
not quite middle-aged, but you got to look 20 years younger than you really are, you know?
You're right. I'm not middle-aged because I'm 2 years past it now. At 75, I was middle-aged.
Yeah, 2 years past middle age, right? Mike, thank you. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
Go forward and pay it forward and get them all on it, and we'll talk again real soon.
All right. Thanks, Anthony.
Don't forget, hey, take an ounce and feel the bounce. Bye for now.